It's TMNT time! Hello, welcome to another figure review. Today we're going to have a look at the Neca Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Casey Jones, the fourth turtle, the vigilante with the hockey mask, and an absolute freaking badass. Did I just say fourth turtle? I mean, he's so integrated into the family and into the lore of TMNT that he kind of is. But yeah, just human and super duper badass. This is the Mirage version, by the way. Classic style. We do have the masked version and obviously also one where he's unmasked. This one looks really gritty, a lot more dirty and comic book style, and might be my favorite so far. But before I judge, let's have a look at the figure. Let's have a look at the size of the masked man. He stands about almost 17 centimeters to the top of his hat, which means we are going up to almost 6.5 inches tall. Size comparisons. Here's Jolter, the SH Figure Arts Son Goku, Neca Arcade Michelangelo, Mirage Raph, the old school Playmates toy, movie Casey Jones, and Darkseid. Overall look and detail, this is not a very simple one, but that's just how he looked in the comic books. First and foremost, personally I don't really care for the brown in his hair, like the kind of wash they put over it. Like, again, I prefer just to look black, and I mean in some repainted versions of the black and white comic he has that, and others he doesn't, so that's neither here nor there. By the way, I wish they kind of would go back to making black and white versions. I think this one would just look a lot more menacing in that. But menacing, we have in the hockey mask, you have like kind of the Batman eyes, the very sharp eyes, which was the look at the time in the Mirage comic books, and also he's chock full of the black comic book line work in the shirt and in the muscle work. Also looks fairly lanky, fairly slim, but still muscular. And again, going back to it, when I looked at the figure, I was just like, no way, I thought it was more muscular. Nope, picked up an old school comic book, and I was just like, yeah, no, they did that correctly. Could have used maybe a little bit more detail in the muscle, because again, they were known for the hyper detailed muscle work. And also I feel like he's a little bit too rounded, but I'm really going in deep. Again, like I just went back, picked up the comic, so my mind's still fresh off of that. But overall, I mean, as the figure goes, there's no issue with the paint, and the line work is clean, there's no bleeding, whatnot. Down to the jogging pants, just in the blue, with some more detail on there, and the big boots. So, let's get to the articulation. So, first and foremost, the head is alright, goes back and forth quite nicely, does tilt side to side, and you can swivel it all the way around. Got the hinge in the shoulder, can bring that up, and also rotate it on there. But if you don't like that, you also have a bicep swivel, and that's like really one part where I feel like it's really motor. Look at this bulge he has over there, kinda wonky. Then we have the double hinged elbow, goes up all the way, and a simple hinge in the fist, so you can bring that up, down, and can also be swiveled. For the chest area, we do have some articulation. It's kind of hard to get a good grip on it, but I feel like it does go side to side as much as the shirt lets it, and you do have a little bit of back and forward motion and also tilting. Now for the hip part, this is just on the swivel, which I hate. Please stop doing these. Just put like hollow this part out, put a ball joint in there, and have some wiggle motion, because I'm not like, look at this. Is this good? No. Well, you don't have to pose like that. I guess you have a fair amount of range until the sculpt just kind of goes to hell if you use this, but still, I don't like it. Make something you can do better. Now for the legs. Now this one's stuck. I thought I got it up earlier a lot more. Let's try this one. It's still fairly blocked because of the kind of soft plastic diaper you have on the top of the pants, but it does go out to the side, does go to the back, and it's also fairly stiff, but that's good. And it does go out like this, and you can also rotate it on there. But yeah, very stiff, solid, nothing really wobbly on it, which is appreciated. Double hinged knee, and then for the shoes, they swivel, but I feel like they swivel a little bit in an angle. It's not completely straight, it's not completely flat. I mean, you can adjust it, but it's also kind of a weird thing we have on there. Then you have a hinge on the boot, has a decent range, and the pivot is actually great. So, for your accessories, first and foremost, you got the good old bag, so you can drape that over his shoulder and store all his weaponry. It is soft plastic, so it is bendable. And can you actually take this apart? No, you cannot take this apart, so you kind of have to, take off the hat, maybe take off an arm to get that in there. You do have the unmasked Casey Jones, which looks pretty ugly, but still comic book accurate, also has the same kind of paint job in the hair. Honestly, I don't really care for that because like Casey Jones always has to wear a mask for me, but it's cool that they included that. And then you do have the mask, which is also soft plastic, completely rubbery. Maybe you could play around with that, put it on some other figure, I don't know. Can I try to put... doesn't make any sense, but let's see. Try to put the mask on the face. No, because of how it's molded on top. Well, I guess it does kind of work, but I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. Then we have the golf club. They all have the same kind of idea of what it's like. There's all kind of gray bandages around, and I just want to try something out real quick actually before I move on. We have these two hands, which seem to have a lot smaller, well, this one seems to have a lot smaller hold. And then the other two have like a lot bigger hold. So I kind of want to test out if this one is just for the golf club in particular. It seems to be like that. So that's why you only get one, which kind of sucks. You couldn't have made two of these. But then again, it's really just specifically for the golf club. And then the other hand's just, I guess, yeah. Kind of give it a good squeeze in there. It's better than you heat it up before and just not just jam it in like I do. But we do have like two... Are those baseball bats? They seem kind of small for baseball bats. I'm very bad at like naming sports things, so yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna call them baseball bats, even though they might be something else. And then we have the hockey stick in the exact same design as everything else. Let me just see if that goes in there. And after a little bit of trying, yes, it does fit, and he does have a good grip on all of his accessories. Final thoughts, and I like this figure. Not really much for me to complain, although it is a super simple design, so I will complain anyway. So articulation could be a little bit better, and I feel like he could have had a little bit more posing hands, other than you really just have fist hands and hands that hold his weapons. No pointy finger, no open hand, no grabby hand, no nothing of that. I still like the look of it, and it's very cleanly done. And it still articulates well, and you can get a good amount of poses out of it. And considering the price point, I think it's fair. So, I will recommend this one, obviously for Casey Jones fans and TMNT fans, and the Mirage comic book, old school stuff, always warms my heart, gets me right back into it. But is this one my favorite Casey Jones? I think I still prefer the movie one. And it's just so clean looking. With long hair and whatnot. I mean, this guy also has long hair, but it's a lot more frizzy and, you know, comic book-ish. But still, I do recommend this figure. That's gonna do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit that little like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever Casey Jones wants.